There it is. Live, baby. Live. With a pink hued screen. I don't this I feel like this pink hue makes me look like I'm a cam boy who's getting ready to do a jack off show with one of those diamond butt plugs in, leaning leaning back, lifting up the sack and letting you see that thing glisten. Not tonight. I was just thinking about this. I feel like the aesthetic could use a lava lamp. I feel like that would be pretty sweet. So there's a good chance you'll tune into this one night and you will see a lava lamp here. Before I get too deep into this, I should test the audio. And the best way, of course, to do that is just to hit up old YouTube and make sure it's all good. Hit up old YouTube. There we go. Audio's working. All right. And of course, as I do at the beginning of every show, a reminder to hit the old subscribe button. Tell your friends, check it out at Mike's Golden Streams, or just search for Sacktap Live on YouTube. The podcast audio, Savage Sacktap, usually comes out a few days later. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram Gary _Moyler, Moyler. I usually there's usually things that happen during the week that I'm ready to dish about when I get on here, but there wasn't. I mean, in my own life, in the world at large, it was a pretty outrageous week. A lot of shit went on, and there will be a great deal to dissect. But I can't say that. I don't know that I saw anything too outrageous on the way to and from the Port Authority. But it is getting to that time of year now where New York City is like starting to become gross. New York City is a very gross place for lengthy stretches of the year. Like whenever the snow is melting, New York City is disgusting. And when it starts to hit like summer temperatures, New York City becomes just a hideous, awful place because there's garbage everywhere, a lot of roaches, rats. They're having a big war on rats now. They're putting these massive garbage cans everywhere to prevent these big garbage piles that have historically in New York City been sort of like they're just these big rat gangbangs going on inside of these garbage bags. And then just garbage everywhere strewn about the street because you have people who dig through it because they want the cans, because they want to get the refund. They just go, it's their entire day is just going around the city digging cans out. So it's a disaster. You got all that. You got these guys spraying the sidewalk. They spray it with a fucking hose. The homeless are even more homeless. Like the stink comes off of them even harder. And then there's all these tour buses constantly coming in. I guess for school, a lot of schools do like a field trip to go see a Broadway show, and I have to walk through this, and it's all these fucking, it's all these rubes from wherever the fuck who don't know how to behave on a city street, and you have to walk through them and fucking weed. It is good because there are a lot more tourists in town. You do get a lot more. It is fucking flesh season. Just a lot of women out there wearing like shorts that just get eaten up by their ass cracks, and a lot of great big heavies on display everywhere you go. So cheers to that. Howdy to the boys in the comments section. Thagano, Paul Crosby. Brother man. Dish, brother man. I should do this from the basement of a bar. I should get a couple guys, do it down like downstairs by where they keep the kegs. That'd be cool. Um, so an uneventful week in my life, but a just an out of control week everywhere else. Like you don't even know what to start with. Like there are many different things that we could talk about at off the off the jump here. There was a plane crash. A guy survived, like a 7-foot, a massive passenger jet went down, and a guy survived. It never fucking happens. One guy out of like all 240. Israel and Iran are apparently, I don't know if this is just going to be airstrikes or what, but Israel really does not appear to be fucking around right now. Like, it seems like they have just decided that they're two enemies over there. I mean, I guess everyone's their enemy over there, but like their two main enemies over there. Israel has just decided that they don't get to exist anymore. It is just fucking just all of a sudden last night I took out my phone and Israel is just wailing away on Iran. And then we got, what else? Greta Thunberg's not going to like that. She was on her way. Greta Thunberg was sailing to fucking Palestine. She was going to, was she going to Gaza or the West Bank or whatever? I don't know the I don't know the what the ship's plan was, but she was I don't know if she was going to join Hamas or what. We'll get to that. And then Los Angeles and New York City have just been putting on a fucking clinic in how to be a complete douchebag. I just whenever protests break out, you know that the people of New York and LA are going to make complete asses out of themselves. So much to get into. Bacon, hello, sir. Kevin Bacon, that would be quite a feat. That would be incredible if I had gotten Kevin Bacon to start watching the tap. Grizzlehorn, howdy. Old Dick Pickney checking in. How you doing, brother man? Chucky D, want to make a lot of noise and accomplish nothing. Go join a protest. Yeah, we will. We'll get to that in a moment. Yeah, this Israel thing, though, I don't. You could sit here. I'm amazed, and I know it happens with everything, COVID, the economy, whatever, but like people who the Israel Palestine, Israel and everybody in the Middle East thing is like, that's one of those ones that I don't know why so many people who are not Arab or Israeli have such like a passionate fucking feeling for. Like they have, I always like the litmus test for me, and this is actually a very generous bar, I think, because there's a lot more psychotic behavior that they engage in, but it always stuck out to me that the people who have the biggest social media problem are the ones who, on like a holiday or something, will still be on there having multi-paragraph arguments with complete strangers. I saw somebody doing it once on the 4th of July a couple years ago, and I was like, wow, that's a really insane thing to do. It's the 4th of July. I mean, I'm going to read it because you're entertaining the shit out of me with your mental illness, but it's a crazy way to spend a holiday, is to use it arguing with people on the internet. And I feel like this Israel-Iran thing is like one of those things that brings people out. And it's going to be great watching watching people like watching because you know who's taking which side for the most part, right? There's some people with more conservative leanings who are like, hey, keep us out of everything. But there are other people with conservative values who are like, hey, we want them to light the fucking Middle East up. But obviously, the other side of that coin is the sort of, the Palestine supporting, the campus lefty. It is going to be fun watching watching like people with, I don't even think you can call them liberal values anymore. It's more leftist values. Because I think liberal and leftist are two very different things now. In the same way, I think right wing and conservative are two very different. I think the political diaspora has become interestingly complex in the internet age. But like they will now have to, in the same breath that they did with like what was it, Gays for Palestine or whatever. All these people who have spent the past few years organizing drag shows for 5-year-olds are going to have to defend the Iranian regime in online arguments. So the 4th of July, we have Juneteenth coming up and Father's Day. There are going to be people, probably guys with kids, who spend their entire Father's Day glued to their phones arguing about the Middle East, like some guy in fucking Peoria. No, because some guy nowhere near any of this shit without an ounce of Israeli or Jewish or Palestinian or Iranian or Persian, whatever fucking blood in him, will spend the entire day doing that. Some guy, his father's 85 years old. This could be the last Father's Day. They're having the big family barbecue. All the families are there. Kids are running around surrounded by love. And he's just glued to his fucking phone, getting riled up, arguing with a fucking bot about Middle East policy. Yeah, I don't understand why people choose to spend their time like that. I do find it is, of course, fascinating. I think, people are like, oh, it's World War III. I mean, has World War III then, I think, just not been going on? Would we say then that that either, 9/11, you could say 9/11, the attack on the USS Cole, or maybe the embassy bombings that preceded 9/11. Maybe you could say that those were sort of the Archduke Ferdinand murders that started World War III, and that World War III has really been going on since the United States put a heavy troop presence down in the Middle East, and that this is all kind of wrapped up in there, because remember, this is not the first time. This and October 7th are not the first time that there's been trouble in the Middle East since we pulled out of Iraq. And I mean, the way we botched the fucking pullout in Afghanistan. There was the whole run of ISIS just chopping heads off and shit and taking over towns in their little fucking SUVs with their machine guns and everything, and making all those videos and trying to get. So it does feel like World War III has actually been going on for a couple decades now. But it is, it's fast. The Middle East is such a fascinating region. Like, it's fascinating to just watch this happen and, obviously not be involved, but like, there's just so much. And I guess it's because it's so ancient, but I've always felt like there's just this great deal of intrigue surrounding the Middle East, and everything has this air of danger to it, and it's people walking around. Their faces are covered up, and they got fucking weird ass curved swords. That it's a place where they still cut off hands and heads, and it's everyone's a little nuts because it's like 120 fucking degrees out during the day, so you're just baking, boiling, getting mad at your neighbors. Everyone there is just pissed off at their fucking neighbor. It's just one just big angry neighborhood, and every once in a while you will see an incredibly beautiful woman. I am a big fan of Middle Eastern chicks, the good ones. I mean, and I would say, yeah, Middle Eastern chicks are, I would say across the board are pretty naturally sexy. It's the conditions in some of those countries they don't let it sort of come as much to fruition as, say, I think it's almost the opposite of here in America, where you get some fucking, she's a 5, but she knows how to contour and, push everything up and fucking spanks things into the right places. You go over there, you see some nice looking broads, Syrian, Lebanese, good stuff. So yeah, Israeli chicks very hot. A lot of hot chicks in the Israeli military. So yeah, I think, look, it would be better if everyone, just spent time enjoying their sexy women over there, and they got good food, get a nice falafel, eat some goat. They have these big things. When you go into someone's home there, they serve you like a nice, traditional meal, flatbread, layer of rice, vegetables, and then goat and chicken and all sorts of meat. And they put the juice from they were cooking, whatever, the little juice left over from the roasting. They put that on top, and you just go in with a hand and you eat like a fucking savage, and it's good. And I think if they could focus on doing that kind of stuff and liberalizing a little bit, coming more up to speed, so everyone can just enjoy the warm weather and the hot chicks. That's my plan for the Middle East. I don't know, I don't want to get too deep into the debate. Yes, Cowster. Quite true. There are a lot of kid fuckers out there on both sides. I would say more of the kid fucking in Afghanistan, but yeah, there is quite a bakabazi in Afghanistan. Of course, is the practice of like the older dudes in the village. They bang like the 12-year-old boys, and they make them do, before they do it, they make them do a sexy dance. Like they make them twerk and clap their cheeks. It's wild. It looks like they're all like, if you've seen like news footage of it, it's like these kids are throwing ass around like it's the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Like they're just fucking bent over, going ass, or like the even worse. It's somewhere up there between the Puerto Rican Day Parade and the West Indian Day Parade. They throw it around, and yeah, it's horrible. Yes, cheese. Just like a boy and his uncle. A boy and his. Yeah. Cheese. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw that you wrote Texas subreddit cucks, I thought that you were going to go and tell a story about like hot, because I saw pussy as well. I thought this was going to be about hot wifing, and I got very, very excited. And this is a bit less exciting. Uh, anyway, Air India. Holy shit. There is something I have always been fascinated by, and I never want to experience it, but I've always been fascinated by like what it's like when a commercial airliner goes down, like what it's like to be a passenger on there, because what it happens and nobody really ever survives. Like there's the Miracle on the Hudson, but they landed that thing. I'm talking about a fucking plane, like a proper plane crash. Like a turn on the news and there's footage of wreckage everywhere, plane crash. Um, what is it like when it's going down? Like, do you know? Do you like? Are you aware? How do you not know until you hit the ground? Like, is it what? What is that? Is that like? Because it's just so. I guess it's because that TWA Flight 800 happened when I was a kid, and like there's also a family from my town that was wiped out in the Lockerbie bombing. So like that these things were like at the forefront of my mind during my childhood. So this Air India survivor escaped through emergency door while brother just seats away was among more than 240 killed. Blow this up a bit. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh was seen limping in a bloodstained t-shirt with bruises on his face, still clutching his boarding pass for Boeing 787. You're going to need that to get, because this guy's flying, but he was flying back to England from India. So he probably will need the boarding pass to at least to get his miles, but certainly to get booked on another flight. Like, what's the deal? I could see an airline being a fucking dick and being like, well, the flight technically took off, so you have to buy another ticket to rebook. Like we can't give you a free one because the flight did technically leave the ground. The married dad miraculously walked away when the plane broke apart, with his section landing unexploded on the ground while other chunks hit a building, bursting into a giant fireball. When I opened my eyes, I realized was alive, he said. The side of the plane I was in landed on the ground, and I could see there was space outside the aircraft. So when my door broke, I tried to escape through it. I saw people dying in front of my eyes. The air hostesses and two people I saw near me were bodies all around me. So I'm curious, because he's a little vague here. He says people dying in front of his eyes, but then he says there were bodies. So I'm a little bit confused as to whether anyone else was like alive around him, and he was the only one who like had the strength to get up and get out of the thing. Because I mean, obviously, like he's like, he just went through the physical trauma of a plane crash, so it's not like he ain't saving anybody. He says, or were they all dead on impact, and he somehow just managed to not, have his fucking spinal cord snapped and all of his internal organs pulverized. I managed to unbuckle myself, use my leg to push through the opening, and crawled out. I still can't believe how I survived. He was in seat 11A. His brother, who was in seat 11J in the same row on the other side, did not make it. No one could have got out from the opposite side, which was towards the wall, because it crashed there. Yeah, he has no idea. He's so, and I guess I kind of get it, right? Like, it's not like you were anticipating the crash. You're like, I'm going to remember how all of this goes down, but still, I mean, I guess it's such a disorienting experience. Okay, here he says uh, the plane seemed to stall midair for a few seconds after takeoff, with green and white lights coming on as the plane struggled to gain height and quickly came crashing down. Um, yeah, and it says they said the doctor who I guess caught him says he was very disoriented and he was in complete shock, which obviously makes it makes quite a bit of sense, as one would be if something like that. Like, what do you do? I guess he's in the. They took him to the hospital to like get checked up, but like, what's like? I was watching the news. I saw him walking away, like, and they were interviewing him as he's going, and like, what do you do after? You're just like, all right, like lunch, like you just go back to work, like he's flying back. He's got to get a he's he's got to get back to England. He's got to get on a fucking plane. How's that going to be? that's not that's going to be awful. I mean, I guess you have to. I guess you have to get right back on a plane and go back up, right? That's the only way you're doing. You either have to go right back up, or you need to not be anywhere near a plane for a very long time and watch the news and not see any major incidences, and then be like, okay, I'm ready. But yeah, holy shit. Just one of the most wildly unique human experiences to, I mean, think of all the, like, what they say, 212? Is that how many? More than 240. 240. Holy shit. And he survived. Like, buy all of the lottery tickets. I mean, yeah, I guess you don't need to, because you're just going to sue the airline and make a shitload of money because, all the trauma and suffering and all that shit. You get a halfway decent lawyer and you'll never have to work again. But wow, incredible. Is that true, Cheese? They all lie about being from England. Interesting. Yes, Andrew. I can imagine. Um, I can imagine to your first comment. Yes, it must have been quite pungent. But pilot error at the flaps and controls. Yeah, I did see that. Someone had circled the wing and said, like, if they're taking off at this angle, the flap should be set different. Cows did the Indian chick. I fucked it. No. Well, I've been intimate with a couple of Indian women. One, as you may recall, I told the story about how when I was stationed down in Quantico, I met this Indian chick at a club, and she took me back to her hotel room, and I gave her a proper rogering. And then after coming out of the bathroom, the light was on, and there's some fully dressed Indian dude just laying on the other bed in the fucking room. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I had no idea what a cuckold fetish was. I was completely unaware. I did not know this was a thing. So I thought this guy was going to be pissed. I didn't realize that I had just made his night. And she said something along. I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" She said, "Like that." I think she said, "That's Ravi." he really wants me to fuck him, but I won't, or something like that. Some awesome commenter along those lines, but no, I don't remember her stinking. And then the other one, the other one was fucking rocket. I mean, this was the worst Spanx job ever. I mean, the thing came off and it all fell out. She had a very pretty face, although I guess I'm sure it was quite contoured and everything like that. It's yeah, it's amazing what those bitches be hiding. But yeah, it was you know you gotta take a trip or two to Punjabi before you settle down. I say if you haven't gone Indian, give it a whirl. I do recommend. Um, what a lovely trip down. What a lovely trip down memory lane. Yeah, you're already there, Cowster, and I can't. She was a little a little bit of a high strung personality. So I did not head back for repeat business. She was a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it was for a one off, certainly an experience. We'll leave it at that. Yeah, good old trip to Punjabi. Speaking of the Middle East, Greta Thunberg, I fucking love this. Greta Thunberg got on a boat. She was on I looked like they were having a great time taking selfies, cruising, I guess across the Mediterranean. I guess they went from Greece, and they were trying to go. I'm sure the article says it. They were trying to go basically. I mean, I don't want to. I guess I can't say that they were going to sail to help Hamas, but yeah, okay. She and 11 others attempted to sail to Gaza to make a statement against Israel's campaign. Yeah, and this, if she had gotten to Gaza and had been, hanging out there and joining the cause, how long do we think before Greta Thunberg did wind up joining Hamas? That is shit like that is what I wake up for in the morning. Is the shit going on in the world where this is the severely autistic. How old is she now? Anyway, is she 18 yet? She was 13 when whatchamacallit. I think she was 13 or so when they paraded her around as a climate activist, and she gave that speech. She's like, "I should be in school. You took my childhood from me. I should be in school." She sounded like Eric Cartman. School. And I was like, wait, why? I was so confused, because the media was like, oh, this child's what an inspiration. Oh, it's so important, so incredible that she's doing this. And I was like, why are we letting this autistic child just scold us? Why has no one told her to shut the fuck up? Where's the Iraqi reporter who threw a shoe at George W. Bush? Fucking, can we get that guy in here and just put a Nike across her fucking temple? Hit her in the jaw with a wingtip. Just tell her to shut the fuck up. Because now she's got to be 20 or so by now. And now she's leading a fucking an armada to Gaza to support them against Israel. It's not a reach to say that someone of her mentality might actually join Hamas. And this is great. So the Israelis intercepted the flotilla, or whatever you want to call it, um, and they arrest. I guess I don't know if they arrested. I guess I don't think they arrested them. I think they just took them and flew them back to wherever. Yeah, because they flew her back to France, and apparently there are these pictures of her pretending to be handcuffed, which is such a Michael Scott thing. This is so funny. Let me give this a quick share, because this really is, it's so wonderfully performative. Like, she's walking. It doesn't look like there's a handcuff there. Let's see if we get closer. Here she is on the flight. Yeah, I don't. There's not, other than that first picture. There's not a great angle, but apparently she's walking around just with her hands behind her back, pretending to have been handcuffed, which is incredible. Just absolutely incredible. See, these are the things we want to talk about when it comes to the Middle East. This little wacko. She's either going to join Hamas, or she's going to start an OnlyFans. One of the two. Within the next decade, you're either getting suicide bomber Greta Thunberg, or OnlyFans Greta Thunberg. She's going to compete with Bonnie Blue to see who can bang the most people in one day. Yes, Andrew. How dare you? Yeah, she is she is something else. I don't understand where the fuck she came from, though. Like, who put her up there and was like, yeah, everybody listen. Everybody listen to this. She's gonna tell us how to do it. This one's gonna tell us how to do it. I don't. It doesn't make an ounce of sense. Um, oh yeah, I would not mind seeing that Sabrina Carpenter, diddling herself with a nice long piece of rubber. She's a good one. I'm as much as I think Chapel Roan sucks. Sabrina Carpenter's got my vote. Chapel Roan can go suck an egg. So I guess we'll finish with the story that any other week would have been the only story. These riots, which is, once they start burning things, once a Waymo or two gets set on fire, then it is a riot. Like, it's no longer, if protesters are clashing with authorities, like if they're charging at the police, if they're trying to stop police cars or traffic, it's no longer a protest, it's a riot. I love this line. Like, we've seen the videos of the burning driverless cars. Like that, if someone torches one driverless car in your city on a normal day, that's like a big deal. Like, I worked in the news industry. That would be a very, very big story. So to say that people aren't rioting, and again, like, if they're getting into altercations, like, and getting physical with cops, they are also rioting. It's so ridiculous. Just because you can drive through one part of Los Angeles is it's like 500 square miles. Yes, Kenny. Absolutely. Yeah. Uh, the default number of torched cars in a city should be 0. So, yes, anything more is a riot. Correct. Los Angeles is 500 square miles. Of course, the entire thing is not going to be overtaken by rioters. A couple thousand people can physically, like, if you've ever been to a parade, a couple thousand people, that's like, a city block. Um, However, I would argue that, again, even if it's just a city block, if they're smashing and grabbing small owned businesses and setting things on fire, they have in fact rioted. So I thought it was very funny because I on Monday I watched the whatchamacallit, the Los Angeles local news. Like, you can go on your smart TV, and all of the local news outlets have apps where they just stream uh, their news instead of watching the evening news 5 o'clock, you can turn it on 24 hours a day, and they will be running their news stories. I went to watch the midday news on Monday from Los Angeles. I wanted to see, if they had coverage of all the shit that was getting set on fire, and it was like they were trying to go out of their way to act as if nothing was going on. So that I found very surprising. And then you hear people talking about, like, oh, it's not really. It's like, no, yeah, there are videos of cars on fire. I don't even know why we're having this argument. It's an insane argument to have. You can now a more nuanced position would be that that you think that you feel so passionately, say, about the rights of people to come to this country and become citizens and not be through whatever, that you feel that the government has somehow breached that. If you were sincere in that and wanted to cite the history of immigrant, some shit like that, I'd at least give you credit for being principled. I would disagree with you vehemently. And I would also go on to add that I think a lot of this is, I think there are people, again, I don't think they're liberals. I think it's a collective of like leftists, young people who have been kind of like warped with like leftist campus ideology, which is just, that's a forever thing. That's just always going to be like that. That's what, since Vietnam, that's what the college campus is. And people who are sort of, they just have nothing to do. Like, they come from a lot of money. They're from wealthy families. They are the people like Cheese describes here in R. Houston, posting videos on how to cover yourself from tear gas and getting excited about going toe-to-toe with an ICE agent. Yeah, it's people who have been, everyone's been living behind a fucking screen for the past couple decades. I think there's a degree to which some people are so hungry for like a visceral experience, like the kind that would come from like joining the military or, going fucking skydiving or like big game hunting, or like just the kind of shit that like you really have to throw yourself into physically. I think there's such a lack of that in some people's lives, that they look to things like this subconsciously. I think they get riled up online. They spend all their time online. They get riled up online. They operate in social circles where where virtue is signaled, that the opinions and the beliefs of the protesters are absolutely right, absolutely correct. So they figure, not only can I score some points in my community, right? Like, how many guys how many guys at Columbia were joining those protests just to get their dick sucked? How many guys from Brooklyn went to a Black Lives Matter protest just to get their dick sucked? So they do that, and they want the adulation for it, and then they get there and they're caught up in the mob energy, and again, like a lot of people just truly haven't had real, true, visceral, intense life experiences, and they just start to wild the fuck out, and they burn things and they smash things, and they're like, hey, this is actually pretty fun, because objectively, setting a driverless car on fire could be a lot of fun. I could see that. You could absolutely convince me of the merits of that. But they do that once, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this rules. All these fucking hot woke chicks, fucking with hairy pits and overflowing bushes are into me. I'm getting stinky breathed BJs from some chick who hangs around a food co-op in Red Hook. They're all doing it, and the next thing you know, you're loading up Molotov cocktails, going out for night 2, and now you're a felon. And I think that's how it goes. People get swept up, but people do use this as a way to sort of grandstand. And again, I think a lot of this is people who like to grandstand. There's a lot of protesting, especially when it involves race and class in America, brings out a certain type of Caucasian. So I want to. This video is incredible. So Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son was. Initially, people online were saying that that this guy in this this video that I'm about to show you, who's giving a very impassioned speech about immigration and all sorts of shit. People were saying that it was Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell. He's the son of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, and there's this guy who was scolding law enforcement. Here he is. He's fucking. I mean, he just looks. I mean, he is straight out of Central Casting as an LA douche, isn't he? So I'll show you the video, but I just thought it was very. You'll see why it's funny that Wyatt Russell did not want to be associated with it, because it's just the most cringe thing, and I love the idea that Wyatt Russell put out a statement distancing himself from this behavior. So yeah, shouts to Wyatt Russell, as they say on Talking Cowboys.
Feel tough with your assault rifles and your sticks. You should be standing here with us. You're on the wrong side of history. We know you got a job to do, but you took an oath to the Constitution, not to the fascists in the White House.
Yeah, that's right. Woo! Woo! Like, I mean, it's Los Angeles. You can see him walking into a casting call or an audition and doing exactly this. And this is, if you were playing the role, this is very much how you would dress up. Like the everyman taking a stand, Dodgers hat, long hair because he's a California boy. He's got is this the LA is the hockey team out there? Is that? Is there an NHL team in LA? Is there one in Sacramento? I haven't watched hockey regularly in quite some time. It's a fun sport. It's just I don't have time for all of the sports. I enjoy it when I watch a game, but anyway, yeah, this guy's a real douche nozzle. He's he wants to be seen. He wants the adulation. Again, there is something about. I mean, he objectively he probably did get blown because this went viral because he's like the toast of. I think he's like the toast of liberal Twitter, and he was getting made fun of terribly by conservative Twitter. But you probably could have gone down to like UC Santa Clara or whatever's closest to LA and gotten blown by a couple co-eds. Although I think a lot of kids are home for summer now, so campus might be empty. Anyway, continue.
Think about what you're doing now. Think about what this means.
I love the hand motions. Think about, man. Think about it, man.
Coming into our community. Peaceful fucking community. People working their jobs. They send in men in military fatigues. Weapons of war into our community.
I love when they say weapons of war to refer to a rifle. It's just a rifle. It's a rifle. And I don't even think it's my understanding that they were not. Are they carrying rifles loaded with live ammo, or are they carrying like rubber bullets and fucking paintball rounds? Like, I don't think they're. I have yet to hear a story about fucking a protester catching a controlled pear in the pelvic girdle. Maybe, I don't know. You'd hate to see it. More.
And you stand here and you allow it. I am sick and tired of
Woo!
it. You should be sick and tired of it. You think any of these people in the White House sending you these commands give a fuck about you?
I love that line out. Like, they have, first of all, they signed up to do a job. They're being financially compensated for their time. I don't care if they give a fuck about me. We have the VA. If the president personally, I prefer a president who supports the troops, but while conducting the operation, I'm not sitting there thinking, oh, the president, he's not here on the front line. Now, I don't want the president to deploy us into, a Vietnam situation or get involved in frivolous, foreign expeditions or stuff like that. I didn't like the way the Biden administration handled the withdrawal. There are things I didn't like about the way the Bush administration did things with troops. But if you're there, you're still a professional. Just because the powers that be, they're not. You don't have anything in common with them. That's not. You signed up. You knew what the job was. I don't think that's not. There's no. The president. Of course, yeah, we know. We know that the politicians don't give a shit about the troops. Like, that's it. They tale as old as time. They pretend to. They shake the hands. They America, and thank you. We wouldn't be without you, the defenders of freedom, all that shit. We know they don't give a shit. Of course they fucking don't. They're a bunch of, again, politics, they call it Hollywood for ugly people. They're a bunch of ugly power brokers in Washington, D.C., all trying to get wealthier and more powerful, and trying not to get caught in whatever particular sexual cabal they are involved in. Everyone in DC, by the way, is involved in some sort of sexual cabal. Every last one of them, I'm convinced. It's all power and sex. Of course they don't give a shit about the troops. But we knew that If you didn't know that when you signed up, you thought that the people in DC had your best interests at heart. Come on. You ever watch Forrest Gump? Fucking Platoon, Apocalypse Now, Full Metal Jacket. We knew.
Not one of them do. They laugh at you. Our president laughs at you. He calls you fools. He said the people who died overseas in the military were chumps. That's who you're defending right now. Every last. Think about your place in history, ladies and gentlemen. Ask yourself when you wake up tomorrow. I don't know if you have kids. Ask yourself the future you want for your children. Is it this? You can answer me.
Five that you can answer me. I love that. Like, I love the substitute teacher energy. Like, they owe him an answer. Which, by the way, it has now become apparent that the reason those troops are there, they're not in like a standoff out in the street. They're not like, busting hippie skulls like they probably wish they were. They're guarding. This is, you see here, it says VA. They're guarding the VA. They're guarding a federal building because it's probably co-located with like an ICE building or something like that. Like a lot of government buildings are located together. So these guys are there to prevent protesters from overrunning a federal building, which you may remember there was an incident in which protesters overran a federal building in Washington, D.C., and we had like an entire big, huge investigation about it. Uproar. Everyone up in arms over the thing. But when that happens in a place like Portland or LA or New York City, it's no big deal. Anyway, let's finish it. He's got about 40 seconds of bloviating left.
Is it this? Do you feel good about this?
Are you not entertained?
You're tough behind your fucking masks and your fatigues and with your weapons, but how do you feel on the inside?
What a line. How do you feel on the inside? You're tough with your masks and your fatigues and your weapons, but how do you feel on the inside? I wonder if, like, I'm sure he's already got gray hairs in his beard, so he's got to be, like, in his mid-late 40s. Because I was going to say, I wonder if there's ever going to be a time when he finally self-reflects and realizes what a douchebag he sounded like here, or if he's just going to exist the rest of his life with the delusion of smug self-satisfaction. And unfortunately, I think I know the answer.
This is our fucking community, and we will fight for it if we have to. Wall streets! Wall streets! Wall streets! Wall streets! Wall streets! Wall streets! Wall streets!
By the way, they were guarding a federal building, and the protesters had them surrounded. Yeah, so there was that, and yes, Kurt Russell's son took to the press to disavow what the fuck was going on, but that was just so cringe. The statements, this is indeed not Wyatt Russell, and we have been working to try and correct the misidentification. Yeah, no one wants to be mistaken for that guy. That guy sucked. Philly Fathead, Semper Fi, brother man, brother man, brother man. Kenny Fresh. I'm gonna be honest. That sounds like a lot of fun. Firing pepper spray at protesters. As much as I have very libertarian tendencies, support First Amendment rights, but there is also part of me that would love to fire pepper spray at protest. Like you get all geared up, you go out there, and yeah, good time. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, I don't. I'm not really a basketball guy either. I don't. My winter sport growing up, I played hockey for a while, and I was very into the Devils. But when I got to high school, I started running indoor track. So that I never got into basketball at all as a short Caucasian from the suburbs. The Brooklyn Nets, or the Brooklyn Nets, used to be the New Jersey Nets, and they were routine. They had like one stretch where they were kind of good, and I don't know if they won the NBA championship or they went to the championship. But other than that, they were just like a laughable organization. So no one gave a shit about basketball in the suburbs of North Jersey. So we'll close it. There was from the West Coast to the East Coast now, another protester made two protesters here actually made complete asses out of themselves. And this is, I mean, when I say like the definition of Brooklyn trash, this is them. Arrogant anti-ICE protesters mock mom begging to let her get to work. And they wound up, you'll see in a second, people on Twitter did wind up doxing this guy and finding out who he is. And surprise, surprise, comes from a very wealthy family. There are pictures of him at these like galas and shit like that, posing with, they're all in tuxes. A Big Apple mom was filmed begging anti-ICE protesters to let her get to her job as they blocked traffic Tuesday, just for one to admit he didn't care while sarcastically mocking her. So we'll check out the video. And the video was tweeted by Savannah Hernandez, a reporter with Turning Point USA. So there is the possibility, of course, because this is the time and era that we live in, that Savannah had a woman go up and act as though she was, a woman trying to get to work, knowing that the response here wouldn't be good. That is a possibility. I have thought about that, but that certainly doesn't change the implication, right? That they would gladly stop a mother from getting to work or whatever. So let's go to the videotape. By the way, this guy, it looks like he's got fucking gyno. Nice nips, douchebag. Man bun. Get real. No one needs the fucking lecture, lady. These people are having their children taken and their parents taken. No, people have to get to work. The bus has to get through. Someone on the bus might be delivering medicine to, their diabetic grandmother or whatever. Someone on that bus might be I know exactly where this is because I used to work around the corner. There is a considerable gay population in that community. Someone on that bus could be delivering PrEP to one of their roommates at the YMCA, who is going to have unprotected anal sex later, and needs to be protected from HIV and AIDS, and could contract HIV during his romantic encounter because these hippies were blocking the fucking street. Unbelievable. Lesbian community. There's a well-known lesbian bar around the corner, Henrietta Hudson. There could be an Amazon truck waiting to deliver a strap-on dildo to a butch lesbian who's going out. She's going to be a stud that night. She's going to wear one under her jeans and take home a femme for a night of rubber rogering. And it might not happen if the Amazon delivery can't get there and drop off the strap-on dildo. Any number of things. Pizza restaurants, many pizza restaurants. A place may not have the flour necessary to make crust because the delivery truck can't get through. They can't make a pizza. Dave Portnoy comes in to do a review. It's going to put them on the map. It's going to save the pizzeria. Doesn't happen because these assholes are blocking traffic. But they do not care.
Look at this. That's what happens to my people. But you can if you could just move out the way. You're not going to. How is this a peaceful protest if there's nothing to peace? No, it's not.
First of all, it's not peace. Once you decide that you are going to prevent people from once you have you've seized a public road, it's no longer peaceful. Go to Central Park. There are many parks in New York City. You could just hang out outside of the federal building. There's a big, huge plaza. But once you start doing shit like this, you do deserve to get run over. And I mean, they are just the worst kind of people. And there are so many of these in New York. And they're just another reason that I hate New York City so fucking much. I mean, when I say I hate New York City, there are things I enjoy about New York City. Obviously, growing up I've always gone into the city, and there is fun to be had. I've drank, I've fornicated, I've gone to ball games. Yes, there are things to do, but there's so much of the bad outweighs the good because it's just filled with shitheads. Like, you look around the city and it's just self-important shitheads left and right, like this asshole and this bitch.
How do you as white people feel about stopping a black woman from going to work?
Oh no, not work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because he's like a fucking I forget. They doxed him, and they I wonder if I can pull it up real quick. They found out that someone tweeted the guy's name. This is so funny. I searched man bun protester blocks road and name, and it's all coming up as just Tank Man from Tiananmen Square. Yeah, they tracked him down, and he was like some sort of trust, which it's New York. Again, like, because the rent in New York is so exorbitant that there are only a few ways you can actually live in New York City, right? You can be a 2-income household, and if it's two of you making $60,000 a year, then you can live in a shitty 1-bedroom apartment. Basically, it's a stupid idea. Then there are people in rent-controlled or subsidized housing. There are the immigrant populations tend to just pack shitloads of people into very small spaces, and they all get, somewhat low-paying jobs and pool their money, that is the immigrant story in New York City. The Italians did it too. I'm just saying how it is. You could have a high-paying job, right? Finance, tech, the higher-end media that exists in the city, all of that shit. And you can, if you do well enough, then you can afford one. And then there are the people like this guy, whose parents definitely pay for him to live in New York City. This guy is probably kind of a family embarrassment, but it's like, he's our son, so what are you going to do? They indulged him too much when he was a kid, and he turned into a shithead. So they pay for an apartment in Brooklyn, and he's probably, I guarantee, either he's either barista, bartender, some fucking bullshit job that he's not really doing it for the money. He's just doing it for the vibes. And I would imagine that he also, or he's like an adjunct professor of some fucking nonsense. So, but whatever it is, it's not anything of great importance. Probably has some fucking pseudo art that he does. It's not because he's actually into it or gifted or there's a practice to it. It's just another thing that he can talk about when he tries to bang fucking leftist Brooklyn chicks. He's like a shitty DJ, or he's in a band, or fucking painting, photography, whatever. But just a complete and utter douche. Everything. This guy is one of the character types of like why everybody fucking from outside of New York fucking hates New York. We'll let him finish.
No, not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work?
Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to.
He said, "Yo, get me on record." Yeah. He's just, of course, there's the Palestinian flag. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the cause is. They just want to cosplay and march. That's it. Yeah. Bateman, I think you have to be. Patrick Bateman asks, are we allowed to physically move an asshole who is blocking our vehicle? I've always wondered. I don't think, because I think once somebody like restricts your movement, like, isn't that like unlawful restraint or like kidnapping? Because like, if you try to prevent someone from getting out of a room, it's technically kidnapping. So there's got to be something. I would love. What we need is we need a Rosa Parks to do that. Because if you know about Rosa Parks, that was this may come to a shock if you went to a public school education, but it was like a planned thing. Like she was an activist that they had her do that. It wasn't just like one random day this happened. That's what they do. This is how protests and community organization work. So we need is a Rosa Parks to do this. So we need someone to study the law, do it within the letter of the law, and just get in their car and wait for whatever triggering action it is that allows you to just start moving. Whether it's like them hitting your hood or something like that, and then just roll them, baby. And then they'll get out of the way. As my drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Coons, used to say, I think if we shoot just one of them, the rest will fall into line. He was talking about us, is that he was threatening to shoot. But There is so the temptation. You remember during the Floyd riots, it would happen pretty frequently. Like people would be trying to drive through, and then like 6 people would jump on their car, and they would just accelerate, and they all jump off. Like yeah, she had a car. She was trying to drive across. So she got out to argue. Yeah, or purportedly. Anyway, that's it. Mikey's gonna go have a little din. Appreciate you all hanging out and watching the stream tonight. Not sure about next week, if it's going to pre-record or if it's going to be live or what. I have to see what the schedule looks like. But glad I could get a live one in with you tonight, just because it was such a week. So many good fun stories. So I wanted to be live and hang out. So wrapping it up. Twitter at Mike Montone, Instagram Gary_Moyler, Moyler. Tell everyone to check out the stream, Mike's Golden Streams, and yeah, is that it? Anything else that I usually Mike's Golden Stream, Sacktap Live. There it is. All right, adios, motherfuckers.